Okay, good morning, comrade. It's a pleasure welcoming you in today's political rumbles here in CoWeb TV. To start with, the 700 billion CBN loan to farmers risks being, of course, destroyed by floods. What can you say about that?
It's a good development if funds are being channeled to development of agriculture in Nigeria. And the issue of flood, anyway, I think as it is now, federal government should look for a way to sit down on the table with the Colombian government to see how they can resolve the issue of dam that are planning, or they have already done that already, so that we will not have a crisis in our farming land, especially in those states that are prone to flooding and all that. Let me also use this opportunity to make it very clear that agriculture is as important as governance, and when it is being taken serious, we're beginning to see, a die down of so many things like food security, lack of products, agricultural products, food, and all that. So it's a good development if it can be put to use properly.
If it can be put to use. And how many farmers have assessed that? Being that most farmers are now in the IDPs. So what are the criteria for assessing such loan? Is it meant for everyone who wants to double into farming, or just for a selective few? That is very important.
I think there has always been channels for that, but what we are saying is that it has not really produced expected results in that regard. Because we have seen the ones the battled former CBN governor did under Anchor borrowers and so many things like that. We've not actually seen much in that regard. But what we are saying now is that there is no farmer that will go to his farmland if there is insecurity. So it calls for a proper check, a proper security check, a good proper security network, to make sure that the atmosphere for farming in Nigeria, is conducive for everyone who is in that sector to do the needful, to go to farm and be able to produce and all that. So the federal government should take it serious. Agriculture is very important. It has always been the lifeline of every nation in terms of development, in terms of consistency, in terms of health, in terms of good living, and trying to, of course, provide food for every Nigerian. You understand? So it's important. It's important. Security first, then farming. Security first, then farming.
In line with that security, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, have made a section that begging for his release amounts to an insult on his person and his fundamental rights. Do you agree with such submission?
200%, if not 100%. I totally, in total, front and back, I believe and I succumb with all due respect to that assumption. Of course, Nnamdi Kanu has been kept in custody for years now, and he has challenged whatever he has with the federal government in the court, and he has won. The federal government has refused up to date to raise further charges or fresh charges against him up till now. They have not done that. They have not been able to release him up to date. So what he's trying to tell you is that what he's trying to say is he is doing what is called justice. He believes in justice. He believes he did not kill anybody. He believes he did not go contrary to the law. He believes he did not contravene any law at all. So why would people be pressuring him to beg federal government to release him? He has shown the type of man he is. He has been celebrated all over Africa. People are celebrating, even though Nigerians are not celebrating him. A lot of well-meaning Africans all over the world are celebrating Nnamdi Kanu. There's nowhere you go to in Africa they don't talk about Nnamdi Kanu. They don't make reference to that young man there that has been kept in custody just because he asked that I want to be free. When has freedom become an issue anywhere in the world? It has never happened. But in Nigeria, which of course everybody knows that is just a jungle, it's just a nation that have no rule of law. It's just a nation that disrespects the fundamental right of every Nigerian, irrespective, of where you are coming from. So these things are trying to point out the kind of man Nnamdi Kanu is. He's resolute. He believes in what he's saying. He has done it. He has taken the Nigerian government to court. He has won. Why are they keeping him there? You understand? So
he won all his cases, even within the Nigerian legal jurisprudence. So I think I have to give it to him and his legal team that did a very excellent job in that matter.
Yes, we know that any moment from now, the whole, whether the judiciary or the federal government, whoever that is holding him here, should do the needful. Nnamdi Kanu is innocent. Even if they don't know, Nnamdi Kanu is innocent. He has not done anything wrong. And it is high time they let him go. It is high time the federal government will do the needful. The more they keep him there, the more he attracts world attention. The more his heroic prowess continue to spread all over the world. There's nowhere in the world now you will go that you will not hear about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has brought the issue of Biafra to global limelight. So you cannot take it away from him. He has done it successfully, and he will continue to do it. There's no doubt about that. So the essence of keeping him there has already been betrayed. So the best thing for them to do is to set him free, and that is just it.
Based on the provisions of the latest enactment or court judgment, he is declared acquitted and discharged. But what is keeping him possibly is the political will on the part of the executive. Now, one of the breaking news is that the Gabon has joined the leagues of successful queue as it stands today. So what does that portend for Africa?
Well, a lot of people from the feedback I've been getting since 4 o'clock early morning today, a lot of people have communicated with, even some of the people that we are, outside and within Nigeria, been expressing some kind of joy, let me put it that way, about the development that is happening there now in Central Africa. People are celebrating it. They say it's a welcome development because politicians in Nigeria, especially in West Africa, has completely derailed, has completely sold out, has completely destroyed the fabric of which democracy stands by looting and by corruption. You understand? And from what I'm seeing, President Ali Bongo has been there for, and his family has been there for over 53 years. What for? The election he claimed he won last Saturday, Ali Bongo did not win that election. Go and check the record. The election was also manipulated, just like what they did.
Yeah, it's based on observers.
Just like what they did in Nigeria. And how long will Africans continue to degenerate because of the so-called politicians? The judiciary is not working. The legislators are not working. Nothing is not working. Everybody is just basically on their own selfish and personal interest. Now that the military has continued to spread in Africa, it is a welcome development. Let us, maybe with time, we can see Africa, beginning to have that consciousness of who they are and what they represent. Maybe I begin to make changes in terms of governance. And like I always said, look at what happened in Niger. What is happening now? The Rajian is going to stay there for 3 years. There's no doubt about that. There's no going back. Other countries are expected to join. Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, name them, all of them. They are beginning to, even Senegal and Mali, they are beginning to warm up. Their military are beginning to show a kind of strength to the extent that, possibly any moment from now, we will begin to see moves, in that direction. So, as I'm talking to you now, how can a family be ruling a country for 53 years? It's uncalled for in Africa. It's uncalled for. You can't tell me that it's okay like that. And not only that, they soil their hands in corruption. They soil their hands in a lot of they kill the legal system and everything just to remain in power.
Just to remain in power. Finally, what is your opinion on the purported delayed judgment from the tribunal? People have been kept as suspense, waiting, of course, for the pronouncement by the tribunal judges, especially as it borders on the presidential petition, electoral petition tribunal. So why is such delay up to this time?
I think what the Presidential Election Tribunal are trying to do is, I think they are trying to take their time, to make sure that the right thing is being done. And, judgment of that magnitude is not something we just rush and beginning to, pass the judgment based and so they need to do a proper check, a proper consultation, on that regard before they finally make it public. I know the judgment has already been written when it will be announced, and from my findings, I think a date has also been fixed by next month, when they were going to make it public. But what I'm saying is this:
don't you think delay would be denial?
No, I think from my own perspective, what I see there is that the so-called delay might be a result of, trying to do a thorough work. That's the way I see it personally. So that when they come out with whatever they're going to come out with, you understand, Nigerians will look at it and know the next step to take. That is the way I see it. But I am of the opinion that since they are the hope of the common man, and if the hope of the common man fails, I wonder what will become the fate of a country like Nigeria. Look at what just happened in Gabon. It's almost similar thing. The election there was, deeply manipulated. The mandate there was stolen by President Ali Bongo, of which his family has been there for over 53 years. And we are keeping, in Nigeria, we keep recycling the same people who have been there for over 100 years, the same family. What for? And you're telling me we are moving forward. Well, there is this call now that the military should do the needful before the people's mind brought, like Jonathan just made a statement recently, the former president of Nigeria, anyway, he said that Nigerian politicians should be careful so that they will not risk revolts from young Nigerians. Everybody is waiting, like they always say, all eyes on the judiciary. They should understand what that acronym means, what that word, all eyes on judiciary, what it actually means. They should understand that every word, including Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, they are watching the judiciary. So I'm not here to tell them this is what they will do or this is not what they will not do. That is not my business. What I'm telling them is that the 2023 election was a stolen election, was purely not the people's wish. They should just take the people's mind and do the needful. Let us see whether there will be one. Let them the judiciary at this point in time. At least now it is in their appeal. Test the consciousness of Nigerians by doing the right thing, by proclaiming the right thing, by proclaiming the right candidate, by doing what is expected of them, irrespective of who is involved.
Thank you so much for this wonderful submission here. I would do appreciate your time.